Good morning and good afternoon, everyone in Australia, Asia, and also North America, South America. I should say good evening, those of you attending the teaching from Europe. So, subject of the talk is uh, Mahamudra, the preliminary practice of Mahamudra, and actual Mahamudra meditation. So, continue from last week. Today, I would like to talk a little bit more about Guru Yoga. Um, Guru Yoga is one of the fourth uh, preliminary practice. So, I would like to read verses here. By Mahasiddha Saraha. So, Mahasiddha Saraha states in his Doha verses. So, Doha, Doha, is a text that was compiled by Mahasiddha Saraha. Doha is like verses and also kind of like a poem, and it's very beautiful, very concise, and very deep and profound. So he was talking about and explaining about Guru Yoga and benefit of having Guru, and relationship between Guru and disciple. Mahasiddha Saraha states in his Doha verses, the instruction of qualified Guru is like nectar which cures sickness. If you do not take the instruction into your heart, even if you have all kinds of scriptural knowledge, you do not know how to practice holy Dharma effectively. It is like the blind thief inside the king's treasury. He does not know which item he should steal. So, Mahasiddha Saraha suggesting the instruction of qualified guru is like nectar, which cures sickness. So nectar or medicine or a herb, whichever, it helps you to relieve and cure from illness. So when you received instruction and advice from qualified teacher who has lots of experience teaching, guiding disciple or student step by step, gradually. Then when the guru gives you instruction on your Dharma practice, your meditation, it is right on the spot. And when you have questions about your practice, and the guru will then explain how to do it, how to go by step. And also when and if you have some doubt or some confusions about your practice, or you are not clear about your practice, then you ask the guru advice, and then guru will give you advice how to clarification. Uh, Guru will clarify, and guru will give you instructions, and also kind of like shortcut, like how to do the practice. So, and then it will be very meaningful, and it will be beneficial, powerful, and also it saves your time and energy, and then your practice will go smooth. So this is why it is important. Now, if you don't listen the advice, or if you don't follow the advice, and then you won't get the benefit, right? And that's why Mahasiddha Saraha stated here, if you do not take the instruction into your heart. So after receiving the instructions, you have to take that into your heart. In Tibetan word, we say, Nying La Chang. Nying is heart. Nying La Chang is hold into your heart. And don't forget, and don't lose it, and keep it as a precious teaching, right? Precious advice. Hold it. So if you do not hold at your heart, then even if you have all kinds of scripture knowledge, you do not know how to practice holy Dharma effectively. So people have lots of knowledge. People read lots of books, Dharma books, texts, teachings, commentaries, and read lots of explanations. And they have done, and they do. And so sometimes they think that they know how to do the practice. And yes, you can say you know, right? But you have to have instructions how to do the actual practice. We're not talking about general knowledge, like the idea or a philosophy, And for example, Mahamudra. Here I'm talking about Mahamudra, and you learn. You have some general ideas about Mahamudra. You know what Mahamudra means, and but if you don't have advice, instruction, how to do the practice step by step, and then the practice will be not so effective. And so instruction of the guru is very effective and very important, like fresh, right? Fresh instruction is very important. And so Saraha mentioned here, if you don't have the kind of the instruction, the key of Mahamudra practice, then even though you have lots of knowledge, then it is example here. The example is it's like a blind thief. Let's say you're a blind person, you're a thief, you're wandering around inside the king's treasury. So the king's treasury has so many things, right? So many treasures. And you could say, well, whichever I grab, it will be valuable, because those items that belongs to the king. Okay, you grab one because you're blind, right? You grab one and then you go out, walk away. Maybe king is busy doing things, or maybe king is not there. Guards, they're all busy, whatever, and or maybe they don't really care that much. They got too much. So they just think, oh, you're just a blind man. You're not going to steal anything. You could be very clever blind man, and you grab something, so that may be your way of getting things, like you think, oh, people won't think that I'm going to steal something because I'm blind. Well, actually, you are stealing. You grab something, then you go, right? So when you get home, you ask someone, or you can touch, you can feel, like, what is this? What did I get here? And so maybe it's something very valuable, but maybe it's not useful for you, and totally useless, right, for you. And so then what's the point? Stealing this thing and this item, right? And not only mention about unwholesome karma of stealing, but what is use? If it's not useful for you. but it's a kind of very confusing, right? And right from the beginning, your intention is not very good. Anyway, this is one way it's a good example. And one way it's sort of a little bit a negative example, and that's how it is. Negative and positive goes together. So we, as a Dharma practitioner and meditators, our mind is not always positive. Our intentions are not always pure. We're trying to practice Dharma, and this is why we have to uh, generate pure motivation right from the beginning. This is why we generate bodhicitta. We meditate on bodhicitta, right? After taking refuge to three jewels, take refuge to Buddha, take refuge to Dharma, take refuge to Sangha. This is the first preliminary practice of Mahamudra. Take refuge to the three jewels. And then after that, you generate bodhicitta. And that's part of the preliminary practice. As you know, I went through this. So you make sure your motivation is good, your intention is good. You do the Mahamudra practice for the benefit of all sentient beings, not just for your own kind of an ego satisfying or self-grasping or spiritual materialism and creating more kind of spiritual things, collecting spiritual knowledge, and so on and so forth. So motivation is very important. And here, now I'm talking about the Guru Yoga, right? So Mahasiddha Saraha stated that having Guru is important. And now I will go through the qualities of Guru. As I mentioned last week, I will go through the qualities of the Guru. There are 10 I will run this quickly because we don't have lots of time. And I think most of you studied Lamrim, so you know the qualities of the Guru and qualities of disciples. But maybe some people here don't know much about, maybe first time. So then I will go through quickly and then you study later on. There are 10 qualities of Guru. The very first quality is the teacher. Dharma teacher must have well-subdued mind, controlled by the practice of moral discipline. So the Dharma teacher, he or she must have good mind, subdued mind, controlled by the practice of moral discipline, which means he or she should have a peaceful mind. Basically, you control your own mind and have a discipline and also moral discipline and moral kind of character. Good, basically, it means ethics. So ethics is very important for the teacher. This is first quality. The teacher has to be ethical. Okay, this is very important and these days hard to be ethical all the time as a teacher or a student, right? And I said hard to because there are many unfavorable conditions around us, and it is always hard to keep everything kind of good and pure, right? Now, second quality of the Guru is Guru must have mind that has become peaceful through the practice of concentration. When he or she meditates, the mind is not distracted. Otherwise, it is difficult to lead meditation. So the Guru teach Dharma and lead meditation for the students. And then during the meditation or before or after any time, the Guru must have a peaceful mind and calm abiding mind and lead step by step, calm mind, right? Peaceful mind, and without distracted the mind without distracted. Otherwise, difficult to lead calm, abiding mind for the students if the guru is not experiencing calm, abiding mind. Right. Third quality of guru is the guru must have reduced his or her self-grasping through the practice of wisdom. This means having the wisdom of Dharma. Once you have the fame and title of teacher, certain pride or ego may slip in. The teacher must always examine his or her mind, see whether there is any self-grasping, self-importance, any thought that he or she is somehow special. So basically, teacher should observe his or her mind as a being teacher, and you observe your ego and self-grasping and self-importance. I am a teacher, I am a guru, I am this, I am that. I am guru, I am this, I am that. So then that can be a problem, you see, self-grasping. And once you have self-grasping and ego and pride, then that pollutes your mind. And then how do we teach selflessness for students? How do we teach egolessness for the students? How do we teach emptiness of personality for students? If teacher's mind is full of self-cherishing, ego, pride, and talking about I'm this, I'm that, I'm holy one, I'm enlightened one, this and that. That's not very helpful. Actually, not only helpful, but can be difficult, can be harmful. So I won't go through all the details. And you have my most of you have, many of you have book, my Mahamudra book, this one that I am composed. And okay, so I won't go into more detail. We don't have time, as I said. Fourth quality is the guru must have good knowledge, deep Dharma wisdom, and 100 times more importantly, and a lot of teaching experience. So now, see, as I said last week, Sanskrit word is guru, Tibetan word is a lama. Lama means someone who has much more knowledge than the student, and more importantly, the guru must have much more experience on a meditational level than the student, and also must have lots of experience teaching. Otherwise, how do you lead the students? Like we have saying, blind leading the blind, right? So teacher has to have good quality, good experience. These days, some teachers don't have experience. They know how to read, how to talk. They know how to talk, and they can be very intelligent. Talking, lots of talking, but no real experience. Someone who must have experience teaching for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, or 40 years. Well, that's a long time, right? But should have experience and well educated, have lots of experience. For example, if you're going for expedition, mountain expedition, you have a guide, like someone like Sherpa guide going up to Mount Everest, and then the Sherpa person being on top of Mount Everest many times, and they've been to K2 in Pakistan, and so on and so forth. So a well-experienced Sherpa guide will then take you to the right on the right path, and carefully and safe. You could have safe climbing and so forth. So teacher must have experience. This is the fourth quality. Fifth quality is guru should have perseverance, and delight in teaching Dharma and feel very honored to teach Dharma. It should not feel like obligation. The teacher must feel that this is my Dharma practice to teach and help other people. So this is a very important one. Not only have the experience of teaching Dharma, but have perseverance and have great enthusiasm teaching. The teacher feels, I'm very honored that I can teach the holy Dharma, the teaching of the Buddha. And I feel so honored that I have the opportunity to teach, to show the light of the Buddha, right? And to help students as much as possible, step by step, right? Have to feel honor, and also feel that gift of Dharma is the highest gift. Gift of the spiritual teaching is the highest teaching, and it is beyond price. It's how should I say, invaluable, and there's no limit, and it's very, very valuable, very, very precious. And so you feel I'm very every time when you teach, you feel very honored. And I won't go into detail. There's so much you can talk about, and this is very important. The teachers feel honored and have lots of perseverance. The sixth quality of the guru must have wealth of spiritual knowledge and knowledge of sutras, shastras, commentaries, lamrim, and tantra. And so, earlier it says guru must have experience and guru must have knowledge, but this one is specific. Guru must have knowledge of sutras, the original teaching of the Buddha, and shastras, the commentaries of the sutra compiled by masters like Nagarjuna, Asanga, and Chandrakirti, Lama Tsongkhapa, and so on and so forth. And also have experience, knowledge of lamrim, and experience of tantra and mantra. And also, guru must have lineage of the teaching. So guru must have received lineage instruction from his or her own guru. And the lineage goes back for hundreds and hundreds of years. And it goes back. It's like we have example. The lineage is important. It's like a river, Ganga and Ganges River. And we have those great rivers flows from Tibet, from Western Tibet, from Mount Kailash, Brahmaputra River, Hindu Kush River, Sutlej River, and Ganges River comes from Tibet. And then there's other rivers flow to the east, comes from Tibet, Yangtze River, Yellow River, and the Mekong River. All the great rivers that travel through China come from Tibet. The great rivers that travel through India and Pakistan and Indus and so on come from Tibet. All the great rivers start from Tibet because Tibet is the highest. Tibet is the altar of the earth. And Mount Kailash is the most sacred holy place. All the rivers more or less start from Mount Kailash. So these rivers come from high mountains. That means these rivers are pure, and it carries lots of minerals and powerful minerals and from the mountains, and very precious river. Not like little spring coming from here and there, somewhere, and small creeks and here and there. Doesn't have a lot of minerals, doesn't have no history, and doesn't have that power and energy. These rivers, like Ganges River and Brahmaputra River and Hindu Kush River, comes from the holy places. They carrying the holy energy. This is why in Hindu tradition we call Ganga Ma. the mother of all the rivers and the holy river, and even the train in India have a name, Shiva Ganga Express. Shiva Ganga Express. They travel from Delhi to Orissa and Bhubaneswar. Shiva Ganga Express. And so, Hindu tradition, the Ganges River come from the crown of Lord Shiva. And that's just a kind of metaphor, right? But actually come from the crown of the mountains. And anyway, so the river has its kind of lineage, right? This is an example. If the teaching goes back all the way to Buddha Shakyamuni, all the way to Dorje Chang, Delopa Naropa, Marpa and Milarepa and Gampopa, or Lama Tsongkhapa, and then the teaching has a lot of richness, good quality, not some kind of new teaching that made in the USA and made in somewhere in California, and some new agey kind of teaching. It could be beneficial, but doesn't have that kind of richness. And anyway, so the teacher must have the lineage of the holy teaching. Okay, the sixth quality of guru is guru must have some level of realization of shunyata, emptiness. If you ask the guru whether he has the realization of shunyata, he will most likely say no. Okay, that does not mean he or she does not have realization. So anyway, this is the seventh quality. So guru should have or must have some experience of shunyata, emptiness. This is also very important. And in order to lead teaching on shunyata effectively and beneficial way. Why? Because teaching on shunyata is most profound, most sophisticated, and all the divisions and philosophical divisions, schools of Buddhism, Tibetan Buddhism, the differences. There are differences between different schools. One of the reasons, the one thing that makes these schools are different is because the views on shunyata. So these divisions are wholesome divisions. They are good divisions, not like some negative division, nothing to do with some kind of political thing. This is a different way of expressing the view of shunyata, different way of understanding of shunyata. Okay, so it is very profound, very tough. This is why the teacher should have some realization of shunyata. Now, I said why? I said some. Why did I say some? Okay, well, the reason why I said some, because it's not easy to have a perfect realization of shunyata. I'm not saying teacher should not have perfect realization. If teacher has perfect realization, that will be the excellent. That's the best. But also, according to Buddhist tradition, Tibetan Buddhist tradition, most teachers are very humble, modest. So if you ask teacher, if you're very direct, ask question, do you have realization of shunyata? Most teachers they won't say, yes, I do. They won't. And they're very humble and modest. And they have also some protocols. And you're not allowed to say, yes, I have this realization, that realization. And he might say, she might say, I got some realization, little bit realization, small amount of realization. Well, that's good enough, because that's all I need. I need a small realization. Then it gets bigger and bigger. It's like you start fire. You start with the matches, right? Small fire. And then you put more kindlings, and then it will grow itself bigger. It will happen. So all you need is small fire. That's why. And so some realizations. Okay, 8 quality of guru is Guru must have a lot of experience in teaching Dharma and especially skill in explaining Dharma to different students, different levels. Come through this comes through experience, not just from reading the scriptures, but also from dealing with different groups of people. So, yeah, again, it sounds like repeating the same thing, but here it says Guru must have a lot of experience in Dharma teaching. We're not talking about general experience of Dharma, but Guru must have skill and explaining, teaching, and guiding students on different levels of students. There are many students and many people have different inclinations, different minds, and different questions, and different understanding or not understanding, and also some problems, and so on and so on. So if the guru has lots of experience teaching on different levels of different students, and this is very important. And now, ninth quality is most important quality is compassion. The guru must have compassion for the student. If the guru does not have compassion, it is a poor example. Without compassion, how can you teach others or help others? So compassion is very important. So I think this is understandable. If you are a teacher, Dharma teacher, or any kind of teacher, and social worker, and whatever you're doing, and as a doctor or nurse and school teachers, must have compassion. Compassion is the most important. Compassion is the essence of Buddha's teaching. And compassion is, I understand, compassion is essence of teaching of Christ. Okay. And the Buddha and Christ, what they taught, same thing. Compassion is most important. Compassion and love. So if the teacher has compassion, then he or she can teach, and he could be a good teacher. And the teachings will benefit for long, long time, and for many students, and very beneficial. Compassion is very important. Um, in Buddhism, we say nyingje, compassion, nyingje. In Sanskrit, which is karuna. Great compassion is called mahakaruna. And so the essence of the Dharma is compassion. 10th quality, you need a guru who is very dedicated to teaching, preserving Dharma without doubt about carrying on a Dharma teacher. Dharma teacher should feel that it is their duty to serve the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, and have a strong commitment for the preserving Dharma for many years to come. So this is the last one. The Dharma teacher should have commitment, okay, for the Dharma, commitment to Buddha, commitment to Dharma, commitment to Sangha, to carry on and make commitments. Say, I will teach all my life until I'm no longer able to teach physically, mentally. Otherwise, I will teach whatever level. I would like to follow the footsteps of Buddha. Shakyamuni Buddha taught Dharma for 46 years. 46 years. That's a long time, right? Buddha obtained enlightenment when he was the age of 36. Then he taught Dharma until he entered Nirvana, Parinirvana. So you say, I follow the footsteps of the Buddha. I will teach as much as possible. So I think that would be good. There are different levels, right? Different ways, right? And not always teaching the philosophy, this that. Okay, good. So that's a rough explanation of on qualities of guru. Now, how about the qualities of students? Do students need a quality, some kind of qualification as a Dharma student? No. Certainly, students should have qualities. There are actually not so many. There are five, half of the qualities. The 10 qualities of the guru, five qualities of student. Maybe because the quality students are students, right? Okay. Disciples must have certain qualities. There are five particular qualities. First one is Dharma student's mind have to be open and without judgment. If you are judging too much, you cannot be a Dharma student. If your mind is always judging the Dharma in a negative way, if your mind is too black and white, too rigid, or you are acting in an arrogant, intellectual way, it would be better to remain impartial. It would be better to just listen. You need to saying to yourself, I am listening. I want to learn. I want to understand. You may have strong opinion and act in a skeptical, cynical way, or bring into much rational thinking. Too many questions that doesn't work. If you are interested in Dharma, you need to open your mind and relax. So it's okay to be critical, to be rational, and analyzing, and have an analytical mind, and so on. So on is fine, but being sort of negative and right from the beginning and judging, and you'll make your own kind of conclusions and right, what's wrong, this and that. And then that's not open-minded, right? If you think, okay, Dharma should be this way, should be that way, then you start right away, you're arguing with the teacher. Then why are you here? You're not a student. If you're arguing with the teacher, then you don't have the student mind. You're like, you come here to debate, come here to challenge, right? Okay, that's fine. You can challenge. And teacher could say, well, let's go somewhere. We should sit and challenge. Let's debate. You can debate me, I'll debate. But this is not time to debate. I'm here teaching. So if you want to be a student, sit down and listen to me. Okay, so student has to have open-minded. That's first quality. And the second quality is Dharma student must have basic wisdom, such as the ability to listen properly, think and analyze. And a compassionate teacher will able to help students step by step to increase their Dharma wisdom. So you have to have some basic wisdom. And if you don't have a basic wisdom, or if you are don't have the ability to listen properly, so what it means that maybe you have some disability, right? Unfortunate thing, some disability. You can't listen, sit down, can't even sit down for 2 minutes, can't listen, then it will be difficult to be a student, right? And we're not saying you can't be student forever. Of course, you can learn how slowly you could learn how to listen, how to pay attention. You could somehow develop ability of listening, and through therapy. There are many therapies like listening therapy, sound therapy, and different kinds of therapies, right? You need those kind of therapy in order to really listen teaching, and especially teaching Dharma isn't, especially listening Dharma is not easy, right? So you have to have a basic ability to learn and to listen. Third quality is you need to have great interest and in a longing to study the Dharma and great interest in Sutra and Tantra. And you should have enthusiasm on practice of Sutra and Tantra, Mahamudra, and so on and so forth. So the third quality of a student is having interest, deep interest, longing, have a deep longing to learn Dharma and to study Sutra and Tantra, and not just sort of superficial, deep interest, longing to learn. So that's third quality. Fourth quality is student also needs faith and respect for his or her spiritual guide and for Dharma. To be a good student, you have to have trust in the teacher and must trust the Dharma teaching. So if you don't have trust to the teacher, no trust for Dharma, and way too skeptical, too cynical, then how can be a student, right? And as I said earlier, you now keep debating all the time, arguing with the teacher all the time. Okay, then you're not really the right kind of student. Maybe you'll find somebody else. Maybe we don't really know what you want here. And maybe you don't even know what you want. Maybe you don't understand how to be student, right? And if you don't have a trust and faith, and why did you come here, right? And so you shouldn't waste your time. You should not waste the time of the teacher. And if you have to have some basic trust and faith. Well, you could say, I don't know what trust means. I don't know what faith means. Well, if you don't, at least you just sit down and don't be too skeptical or too cynical. Listen first. And for example, if you say, I never ate goji berries, or I never ate choke berries, or whatever, blueberries, and I don't know. I'm scared eating choke berry, and maybe it may choke me, or blueberries or something, right? Okay, so then you ask the person who's growing the fruit, says, you're safe. I ate it many times. You just try a little bit, see what it's like. So you just put one blueberry in your mouth. Even little kids, 5-year-old kids, put them in mouth. Taste. Okay, you have to taste. Otherwise, you don't know. If you want to know the taste of apple, you have to put it in your mouth. If you never ate apple in your life, you have to put it in mouth, taste. Then you know what the taste like. Then you say, oh, yum, yum. I want to eat more apple, more blueberries, more goji berries. Okay, so you have to have some faith, trust, right? Otherwise, I will never eat fruit. I will never eat berries, and and I never ate before. I'm not going to eat again, and I won't eat again. I won't bother. Well, then you don't know what you're missing, right? Same with Dharma. If you have too much skeptical mind for meditation, teaching, and so on, you don't know what you're missing. Lama Yeshe is one of my spiritual mentors. He used to say, very powerful, very dynamic, says, you people come and meditate. You got nothing to lose except your delusions. Okay? If you don't like meditation, I can guarantee your delusion will return to you. Yeah, well, he's right. This is why I like Lama Yeshe. He's a wonderful, wonderful, brilliant teacher. So you got nothing to lose. We're not here to convert you into Buddhism. We're not trying to brainwash you. Buddhism is not a really religion. Buddhism is philosophy of happiness. Buddhism is path of enlightenment. Okay? And Buddha himself, monk, he became a monk, meditator, and got enlightened. He didn't have this big plan to start some kind of big sangha community, some kind of boys club. And and build a big monastery and temple and some kind of movement. Buddha didn't have all those expectations. He just renounced his home, left home, went to the forest, and seeking enlightenment. He got enlightened. Then 46 days he didn't teach after the enlightenment. He walked around and meditated here and there in Bodh Gaya. Then he knew that he should go north. That he wanted to go to north, and by his intuition, by his enlightened mind, omniscient mind, and he went to north, crossed the Ganges River, ended up in Varanasi, met his former 5 friends, and they knew he's enlightened. And they got up, they said, "Oh, Gautama, we know you're enlightened now. You're different. And please teach us Dharma." He said, "Okay." Then he taught Four Noble Truths. This is how it started. So in Buddhism, we don't have a concept of converting other people, because converting other people is not a very Buddhist thing. We respect whatever you believe or whatever you don't believe. The believe or not believe is not important in Buddhism, because belief is blind, right? Blind thing. And Buddhism is you experiment. The Buddha said, you don't have to believe what I said. You practice. You see what is like. If it works for you, and then you go ahead and do it. If it doesn't work, if you don't want it, then leave it. Just like eating fruit or drinking water. If you don't like certain water, taste of water, just leave it. If you don't like certain taste of the fruit, just leave it. So, so we don't teach blind faith, but you have to have some trust and faith. Okay, final one, the last one, quality. Finally, you must have the ability to listen the Dharma and study. You must abandon 3 faults. Become a suitable listener of the holy Dharma according to our traditional Lamrim teaching. What are the 3 faults? So first, in order to become a student of Dharma or student of certain teacher, you have to listen to the teacher. If you don't listen, then it's hard to be a student. Some people, they think they're listening, but they're not really listening. Some people, they listen to teacher when the teacher is sitting on the throne, but then when teacher got up from throne, walk around and telling the student something, they don't listen. Well, you're not teaching Dharma. Why should I listen to you? If a teacher walking around with a shovel, digging earth, and telling you how to dig the earth or how to plant some bush, or some trees, or whatever, and you say, "I don't want to listen. I don't need to listen, and you're not my teacher for gardening, landscaping, and you're my Dharma teacher. I don't want to listen to you." Well, that's fine. If you know exactly how to plant the bush, plant the trees, that's fine. But if you don't know, then you should listen to the teacher too, right? And and also what we called meditation in actions. A lot of the teachings come from informal way. Dharma teachers teach Dharma informal way. Some lamas or teachers, they don't teach formal way. They don't sit on the throne, only informal way. There are some teachers like that, only informal way, sort of ordinary level, the day-to-day thing, very sort of practical thing. I have a teacher. One of my teachers, he doesn't teach on formal way. He never sat on the throne. Teach as a teacher. He never gave initiation. He gave advice, day-to-day thing. I learned from him what to do, certain things. And some artwork, maybe some crafts, and this and that. I learned. And like Zen, carry water, chop the wood. So it is also Dharma, right? And so listening to teacher is important. And listening the advice. Okay, so those are the 5 qualities of students. Okay. I didn't mention about them. Here, as I said here, you must abandon 3 faults to become a suitable listener of Holy Dharma. According to our traditional Lamrim teaching, what are the 3 faults? So you have to abandon those 3 faults. First fault is being like an upside down vessel. So you have a cup like this. Okay, this is sort of like a vessel, right? If it's upside down, you cannot pour water inside, right? So like that, whatever you pour into such a vessel, such a tea or milk, it will leak. No, that's the second one. Sorry, you cannot pour water into such a vessel. You cannot study properly if you are judgmental, close-minded, distracted by too many thoughts, and or obsessed with certain things like internet or, or social media, whatever. Not listening. So you have to listen. Not listening, like the vessel is upside down. You have to abandon that. You have to listen. Second fault is being like a hold vessel. So if there's a hole at the bottom of this vessel, so whatever you put in it, it will leak. You cannot hold it, right? Like milk, tea, whatever you put it in. If you do not pay attention, proper attention, they could easily be forgotten. You must keep the teaching in your heart, precious teaching, the precious seed of enlightenment. The teaching is a precious seed of enlightenment and the path. So you have to keep it. So you should not forget. One Tibetan Lama used to say, when you leave, after the teaching, when you leave this temple and take this teaching that I give it to you, take it with you. Don't leave it on the floor of the temple. Don't leave it on the cushion. Take it with you. Please take it with you. And don't forget on your way. Don't forget. That's simple. That's the second one. Second fault is forgetting. Third fault is being like an unclean vessel. So if the vessel is unclean, for example, this bowl is unclean. Yeah, I can see it, right? So if you put something in there, probably color will be different, taste will be different. You have to clean. You have to wash the bowl, the cup, in order to taste properly, appreciate the taste. Likewise, your motivation is made, if your motivation is made with impure, worldly attitudes, and then the Dharma teaching won't be pure. So you must have pure motivation. So just like a clean vessel, and your mind has to be pure. You have a pure motivation, not mixed up with the different ideas, different attitudes. So that's the third one. Okay. So I think that's good enough now. Teachings on Guru Yoga for now. So I will now go into Mahamudra teachings. This time I would like to talk about Samatha Mahamudra. The great first Panchen Lama's Mahamudra commentary. The first Panchen Lama, his name is Losang Kyuji Jelsen, and his commentary, in it is marvelous, poetic way, explains the method of Mahamudra meditation. So here, archived text, the original text by first Panchen Lama, the root text of Mahamudra by first Panchen Lama. Not very long because it's root text. Then it's only got 8 pages, Tibetan text. Okay, and I should show it this way. You can read maybe. And then he wrote his own solo commentary. Gaden Kaju Rinpoche Chakchin Tsawa Jawe Shunglam Shi Chawa Shuso. So the Giluk Kagi Mahamudra root text Jawe Shunglam, which means the main path of enlightenment. The main path of enlightenment. This is the root text of Giluk Kagi Mahamudra, compiled by first Panchen Lama. So, okay, I will read this. Jamdro Semji Hundu Tang. He says, Jamdro Semji Hundu Tang. First, you meditate on refuge. Take refuge to 3 jewels. Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Jamdro Semji Hundu Tang. And after that, you generate bodhicitta motivation. Samlam Lami Nanju Gom. After that, you meditate on profound Guru Yoga. Shukra Sondip Jaja So. So then you make request to the Guru 100 times. Perhaps you say the Guru mantra 100 times. Okay. And Guru, you visualize Guru in front of you, Guru Shakyamuni or Guru Lama Tsongkhapa or your Guru, your present Guru in front of you. You make the request and then recite the Guru mantra and then imagine the Guru transform into light, dissolve into you through your crown. And the Guru dissolve into you. Now you going to meditate on Mahamudra. And this is a very profound word. Nawa Pembu Nang Tela Redo Lasso Namto Ki Jeju Kaya Mijeba Yomi Jungsi Nyamran Yo Yomi Jungsi Nyamran Yo. Okay, I will read my translation here. I translated myself. While absorbed unwaveringly in this haphazard state, lacking any obvious point, appearance or disappearance, expectations, doubt or superstitious thoughts, one should remain calmly in the state of samatha. So after Guru blessed you, Guru transform into light, dissolve into you, into your heart, then you now go into the state of Mahamudra meditation. While absorbed unwaveringly in this haphazard state. So what is haphazard state? Tibetan word is Nawa Pembu Nang Tela. Nawa is kind of like feeling or appearance in your mind and without organizing. It's more like a spontaneous, without this or that, and without any sort of goal or just spontaneous. It's like wind blowing through the forest and mist or fog arising through the forest after the rain. And you hear the sound of the birds, and you hear the sound of the waterfall, or no sound. Very much like Zen, like Japanese haiku. Like Basho said, old pond, frog jumps in, sound of plop. And another Japanese haiku master, Ryokan, he was a monk. He said, he wrote, new pond, frog jumps in, no sound. So there's different ponds, different frog, jump different way. New pond, frog jumps in, no sound. So this is very Zen. Because my understanding, haiku originated from Zen, the idea, right? So it is meditating here. You just sit there, suddenly frog jumps in. I had a very interesting experience. I was sitting in front of, I have a small pond on my creek. I shouldn't say my creek, and there's a creek on my place. So I have some fish. I have, there are goldfish. So in summertime, I go and feed. And then I was feeding the fish, looking. And then I heard somebody's coming. I thought my neighbor. And stopped. I looked. There was a brown bear standing 5 feet away from me. And he was looking at the fish. I was looking at the fish. So my first reaction is I ran up the hill towards my place. And then I turned and looked down. He was running in the other direction. The bear and I did the same thing. We both looking at the fish. Then I ran, he ran. So we both ran from the pond. So that's kind of like Zen in a way. And well, maybe not quite Zen, but we ran based on some kind of unknown feeling, some kind of fear, and whatever. And then I said to myself, is that real? I thought the bear will come after you. He didn't. He ran the other direction. Then I thought, well, that's interesting. Maybe I was just dreaming or fantasizing. Is that real, bear? I said, sure, I'm not hallucinating. It was bear. I think a lot of times the bears or wolves, animals, they are also scared about us too, because people shoot them and, hurt them. They have their own feelings, they have to protect themselves or protect their offsprings. And anyway. So here is the, spontaneous. Okay, you haphazard way. You sit and meditate. So now pembung antela redo laso namdo ki jeju kaya mejeva nyomi chunzi nyamre. So haphazard, okay, unwaveringly in the haphazard state, lacking any obvious point, and Tibetan word is here redo namdo. Redo laso namdo. Re means expectations, hope, or fear, or superstitions. Any of this, avoid. I mean, without hope, without expectations, without superstitions. Jeju kaya mejewa means without alteration, without making some kind of change, without expectation, and one should remain calmly. Jeju kaya mejeba. Yome jungse nyamban yok. Yowa meba. Tibetan word yowa meba means without moving, without kind of moving around your mind, analyzing here and there. Stay very calm without moving. Peacefully. Yome jungse nyamban. Jungse nyamban yok means you stay a little bit this way, as much as possible. Jalta Nilo Dawi Yije Kakba Maimba. So this way of sitting, meditating, is not like you are suddenly become unconscious, or you become suddenly fainted, or suddenly you experience dullness mind, suddenly you're falling asleep. That's not the way. We're not talking about this way. When we talk about unwaveringly and haphazard state, means you have to still remain in the state of meditation. One should remain calmly in the state of samatha. This does not mean your mind is spaced out or has gone into a state of semi-sleep or fainting. Instead, you guard the mind. Instead, you guard the mind with pure awareness without distraction or mental dullness. So while you're in the state, you have to guard your mind. You have to have awareness of your mind being in the state of haphazard way or non-dual and without goal or without expectations. You have to stay in that way, stay that way, and and observe this state of mind. Whenever thought arises, simply observe them, and with introspection, notice whether the mind is experiencing wandering or dullness. So, so here you're now sitting and observing the mind. Mind is observing the mind. But then different kinds of mind will arise. Different kinds of thoughts arising. Then you have to observe the thought that arising and then gone, and then another thought slowly arising, or suddenly arise and suddenly gone. Or at some point there is no movement, no thought. It slows down. Whatever happens is happening. You make what we call introspection, observing, without judging, without stopping, or without pushing away, without pulling in. Just simply observe. This is samatha, samatha of mind. This is samatha Mahamudra. Simji, shine in Tibetan word. Sim is mind, shine is calm abiding. So your mind gently relaxes, but at the same time, it is firmly focused on the mind itself, the object of awareness. So the mind, your mind is the object of your awareness. You have to focus on that. Here, first Pancha Lama state, the beautiful Tibetan word here. Those of you know Tibetan word. Reaching, serving Owola, Shrimchi, Dimla, Chirichi, Tu, Namdo Kangdang, Kangchiba, Tedang, Teni, Gun, Sincha. Okay. Reaching, serving Ola. Reaching, serving Ola means, Rik means seeing, knowing. Rikpa is Tibetan word for consciousness. Rikpa. Okay. There's a Rikpa foundation. Reaching, serving Ola means your mind is seeing your mind clearly. Okay. And then Shrimji Dimla Kirji Tu. So when you see the mind, then you put intention, focus your mind. Shrimji, Shrimji. Dimla means kind of put some effort. Cherichitu. Cherichitu means you look at your mind. This is what we call looking at the face of the mind. Although mind doesn't have face, because mind is formless, but it's cherichitu means you look. Namdo kanda kanche ba. So whatever thought arises, doesn't matter positive thought, negative thought, virtues, non-virtues. Do not, if it's non-virtues, do not try to prevent, do not try to get rid of it. And if it's a virtuous mind, don't grasping, don't holding. Say, oh, holy mind now. First time I got it. And now it's time to hold it. And like catching the fish. First time I got it, exciting, just a young fisherman. When it was the first time he thought he got something, right? And excited. Kind of, I got it. I got the realization, right? And so just look at. So now I like to say a little bit here. Talk about a little bit about when I say looking at the mind, right? So when we talk about mind, the Tibetan word for mind is sim. Okay, we have what we call primary mind and secondary minds. We have 6 primary mind and 50 secondary minds, according to Pramanavartika, Buddhist philosophy. 6 primary mind and 50 secondary minds. So there are lots of mind. You wonder why you're confused. And mind-boggling. Yeah, we say mind-boggling. Don't know which one which, right? So good thing is they don't arise all at the same time. And so 6 primary mind is we say eye consciousness, air consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue consciousness, body consciousness, the primary consciousness, the main consciousness. These are called primary mind. These are primary mind. So as soon as you're born as a human being, you have a little baby, you have all 6 consciousness, right? Eye consciousness, nose, can smell, taste, hear, and feel, cold or hot, and have a mind. Those are primary minds. They're there all the time. Not necessarily you hear something all the time or tasting something all the time, but they're there, ready to absorb, ready to experience whatever, everything. That's why we call primary mind. Zosim, Tibetan word. Zosim, Zowo means the principle or primary mind. Okay, we always have that, right? So in European language, and they don't talk about mind. They don't even they don't even talk about one mind. Well, some they do. I mean, I may have read a book by German, I think, Kantian, and I forgot now exactly how to pronounce. And anyway, 6 primary mind. Then you have a 50 secondary mind. Secondary minds, they come and go. Sowan, Dushi, Semba, Yela, Cheba, Ripa, and so forth. Sowan, feeling, Dushi, intention, perception, Yela, Cheba, and so on and so forth. So there's all 50 secondary minds. They come and go. And they're sort of secondary. Why is it called secondary? And because they arise, they're part of the 6 primary minds, right? For example, you hear something and then you have another thought comes suddenly. Oh, that's nice music. I like that. Oh, I don't like that sound. Whatever, other thoughts coming, rejections and acceptance, different kinds of thought coming. This is why we call Simjung, secondary mind. Okay, so these are very, very precious teachings, and so, okay, I will continue here. As long as you are observing clearly, your thoughts will pass, subside until the next thought arises. So if you're observing the thoughts, they arise and then pass. Same time, sometimes thoughts may not arise for a while. That happens. And after sitting for a long time, sometimes no thoughts. And you experience this sort of spacious mind. And this is a wonderful thing, wonderful experience. Spacious Mahamudra experience. And calm abiding and spacious. Because the mind is spacious. The true nature of the mind is spacious. Maitreya Buddha gave 3 examples of the mind in his text called Mahayana Uttara Tantra Yulama. And Rinchen Namka Chudajin, Peda Kini Shibarcha. Rinchen Namka Chudajin, Peda Kini Shibarcha. The precious jewel, sky, and water are the examples. Precious jewel, sky, and water, the examples of the consciousness. So one of the examples is sky or space. You go out in space, it's empty and vast, right? You ask the astronauts or pilots and ask about what is it like. You're out sitting in the cockpit and flying, it's just empty space. Nowadays, you see other airplanes coming around, flying the other direction, all this and that. When you take off, you see the birds. They might be sucked inside the engine. And anyway, so you see a lot of things, but once you take off, way up there, it's just vast, empty space, empty sky, right? And so, like that, the mind is spacious, like a space. Okay. Mind is like water. Water is always pure, only temporarily polluted. Then you can purify again. You can drinkable. Like that, mind is always, true nature of the mind is pure, but it's only a short time. Temporarily, it's diluted. That's why we do purification. And then we get purified, and then mind go back to the original nature, Buddha nature, Tathagata Garbha, natural Tathagata Garbha. Rangjinjirik, natural Tathagata Garbha. Tathagata Garbha in Sanskrit word means potential of Buddha. Sangye Jiri in Tibetan. English is Buddha nature. Okay, so you experience a spaciousness and stay there, but do not hold on to that spacious experience. Otherwise, it's not really Mahamudra. No matter what kind of thought arises, do not try to stop it. Do not have any preference between positive and negative mind. Keep your mind like a clear mirror, only reflecting without reaction. Keep your mind like a hollow bamboo. Let water run through freely. Keep your mind like the empty sky. Let the clouds pass by, or like birds flying in the sky with no trail or mark of wings. So these are precious examples, right? And you keep your, as I mentioned before, you keep your mind is like empty mirror. Mirror doesn't react. Only we're the one who's reacting when we look at the mirror. Oh, I need to shave or this and that, and the mirror only reflects. And another example is hollow bamboo. So you have hollow bamboo, you hear the sound, wind blowing through the bamboo, you hear the sound, or water running through, or insects crawl through. Just sit there, hollow bamboo. When I lived in Australia, I was told that how did the didgeridoo become the musical instrument? So long time ago, once upon a time, Australian Aborigine person walking through the forest, he heard this sound. What is that sound? There was a hollow tree and the wind blowing through, and he picked up, oh, nice sound. I love that sound. Then he picked up and he started blowing. Then it turned into a musical instrument. They call didgeridoo. Right? What are you doing? I do didgeridoo. And like that, a lot of things like that, accidentally turn into musical instruments or herbs. How do we discover herbs? How do you know this is herb, that is herb? Kids say, who made first time popcorn? Little kids in school, who made the first popcorn? Well, maybe the corn growing in the forest and the bushfire came and then suddenly turned into popcorn. Start eating, this tastes good. And then it's, okay, let's make popcorn. This is just story made up. Who knows who made popcorn first? Doesn't matter. Right? Who made chili powder first? And anyway, and we are human beings. We learn many things by experience or accidentally or whatever, through our hearing and those through our six primary mind. This is why I call primary mind. Through our primary minds, we're learning things. We invent things. We create things. Now we have social media, and so on and so forth. And while you are observing thoughts, they will arise, then vanish by themselves. You will begin to experience stillness, vivid clarity of the mind. So while you're sitting there, all you have to do is sit. The wonderful things about Mahamudra meditation, you just sit there and observe the mind to the mind. And then the thoughts come suddenly or slowly, and then they vanish, gone. Wonderful, right? And some students told me, I've done this, thoughts came and gone, and I'm exhausted. So many thoughts come and gone, keep coming and going, keep coming and going, like a rush hour. Well, even rush hour stops some point, right? After 7 p.m., 8 p.m., then rush hours stop. And midnight, there's no traffic, unless you're in big city, middle of Calcutta or somewhere, or Tokyo or somewhere. Yeah. But even then, people need to go to sleep, right? And then COVID came, no traffic. And we get money back from the insurance, car insurance. And they send out of the blue, you get some check come from the car insurance because you didn't drive. How do they know that? We didn't drive. I didn't drive. And anyway, so thought come and goes. And stay calmly. You sit in unwavering, spontaneous way. This is what First Panchen Lama was talking about. You do not alter when your thoughts come and go. Don't alter. When thoughts come, do not make them larger or small or square, rectangular or round. Don't make any alteration. When we do carpentry, we have to cut the wood to make it into what we want. Similarly, when we are sewing clothing, we have to cut the cloth with scissors, make alteration according to the design. But when we are meditating in this way, unwavering spontaneity, we just rest the mind, just resting the mind in a natural state. Mahasiddha Delopa, he was the greatest Mahamudra teacher. Delopa states, the body is collection of 5 skandhas. So this body is collection of 5 skandhas, 5 aggregates. Form, feeling, perception, mental formation, consciousness. Empty like a slender bundle of bamboo. The mind is like directionless space. Mind is directionless space because space has no direction, right? We make direction, saying where the sun rises east, when the sun goes down, it's the west. But space itself has no directions. So mind doesn't have a direction. The true nature is inconceivable. Rest in the state without acceptance and abandonment. So this is the Mahamudra practice. You sit, rest, without acceptance, without abandonment. Just sit. So when in everyday life, I'm talking about now, everyday life, meditation in action, let's say you sit and without acceptance, without um, abandonment, whatever is happening. Say you hear some bad news or whatever, or good news, or you have some sad feeling, you feel some rejection or acceptance or attachment, whatever you're feeling at this moment, attachment or rejections or anger, fear, whatever. So Mahamudra way is not what you do is you stay calm without acceptance and holding, grasping, or without abandonment. Just relax, relax. Just be. It's like raining, right? What do you do? Raining. It's raining. That's the way it is. Don't grasping this beautiful rain, and don't say, "Oh, this terrible rain is this rain sucks. Ruined my time now while I'm here in Nelson, whatever, right? Or it ruined my holiday." Or well, that's the way it is. Mother Nature, right? Just relax. Do what you have to do. Okay, it was raining. I can't go out there. Do something else. You find something very amusing yourself, something wonderful. You can find or meditate. A good opportunity. You always find something. So anyway, this is the point. Without acceptance or abandonment, this is Mahamudra. Okay. I will leave it here now. It's almost 5 o'clock. So I guess we don't meditate today. We don't have time. Maybe time for question and answer. You can meditate after the teaching. So if you have any questions, most welcome. So please ask relevant questions. If you have a question regarding Guru Yoga or Mahamudra, and you are most welcome. How come today those questions didn't show up here on the side?
I have chats. You don't have chat on?
No, not here. Top chat.
It's turned off.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oops.
Those are the questions there, right?
Yeah, I know these. Yeah, this is the chats. Yeah.
Right. Oh, that's okay. You can read. You go back.
Yeah.
But you have those chats, right? In your computer?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Looks like there's no questions coming. Here's the live chat here.
Right. Maybe go back to where we were before.
Yeah, I'm trying. Rinpoche, with the six consciousnesses, is there a mind known as Yid, as in Yidam? And number two, what is the Tibetan for Alaya Vinaya? Vijaya from Colin.
Mhm. So who asked the first question?
Colin was asking both those. The sixth consciousness, is there a mind known as Yid with the Yidam?
Okay, so as I said before, there are. Can they hear me? Can they hear now?
Can they see on my computer? Yeah, but still there. Okay.
So I don't know if they can hear me or not.
Yeah. Otherwise, they'd be saying they can't.
You're saying they can hear?
Yeah.
Okay. So I mentioned about six consciousness. So the eye consciousness, air consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue consciousness, body consciousness, and mind consciousness. So the mind consciousness is called Yid in Tibetan. Yid means it is consciousness, but it's the mind one, sort of the main one. Yid. So Yidam is a separate thing. Don't mix with that. Yidam is the name of the word for deities. Yidam. That's so separate. Yid and Yidam is not the same. And then the other word you're using, Alaya Vijnana, it's a Sanskrit word. Alaya Vijnana means mind basis of all. That's the translation in English for Alaya Vijnana is mind basis of all. Tibetan word direct translation is Kunshi, number Shiva, Kunshi. So this concept, mind basis of all, Alaya Vijnana, is from this is from one of the schools of Tibetan Buddhism or Indian Buddhism called Yogacara School or Mind Only School. They talk about 8 consciousness, not only 6, 8 consciousness. One of them called mind basis of all, Alaya Vijnana. So they use the word, you have to have one consciousness that is a base of everything good and bad, karmas, past life, karma, this life, karma, future, this and that. You have to have some kind of base, like a base for climbing on the Mount Everest. You have base camp, kind of thing, right? Where you go up or come down, or you stay there for a while, whatever. And so they talk about that. This is what they call Alaya Vijnana, mind based as well. So that in the Madhyamika school, don't talk about that Alaya Vijnana. You don't need a separate 8 consciousness. 6 consciousness is good enough. It's just one. It's called. It is the base of whatever you have, whatever is the different kinds of consciousness, or different kinds of virtues or non-virtues, and so on.
Wonderful, thank you. Oya asks, about the tiger's tail, is recognizing the tail as the second moment enough to heal the delusion which created thought to arise?
Did she say delusion?
Delusion, to heal the delusion which created the thought.
The tail of is recognizing the tail at the second moment enough to heal the delusions. I don't know if it will heal your delusion or not. Maybe more delusion will arise after seeing the tail of tiger. Another tiger might be coming from that direction. I better run. And I'm not sure you are healing the delusions or not. And if you want to heal the delusions, you don't need to see the tail of tiger. It's trying to see Vajrasattva, meditate on Vajrasattva, say the Vajrasattva mantra.
Tom asks, Rinpoche, would you say a little more about being an open student while checking whether the teacher is qualified?
Open student? So you basically, you say more about an open student checking whether the teacher. Well, it's a simple. I think you understand what that means. Your question is, you check on the teacher, see whether he's qualified or not. So what you do is you read those 10 qualities. If he or she has got all those 10 qualities, as I mentioned before, then he or she is qualified teacher. But not only that, also you have to think about the personalities, and if you feel he is or she is the right teacher, according to the personality and so on, then you could take that person as a teacher. Or otherwise, you keep checking. Well, don't take too long. Don't check too long. Otherwise, you won't have time to receive teachings, or you won't have time to meditate, to practice what the teaching that you got from him or her. And then all the teacher might say, "You've been checking on me, then I will check on you too. You've been checking on me last 3 years. I'll check on you next 3 years." Then 6 years gone by, and so you have to make some kind of conclusion or decision what to do.
Thank you. Junior Coconut Kiwi says, "Thank you, Rinpoche. Can we use this meditation skillfully even for a minute throughout the day or night when not in formal meditation settings?"
Skillfully, even and for a minute throughout day and night. Well, I think if you're saying the skillfully, and am I doing skillfully or not, and I'm going to meditate for 1 minute through the day or through the night, then your mind is putting in a little boxes and little compartments. You're not really doing Mahamudra. You're not resting your mind in natural state. You're saying 1 minute, 2 minutes, or skillfully, and this and that, putting in a little slot, like a mailbox. It's not really Mahamudra. If you want to meditate on Mahamudra.
Thank you. Peter Morgan says, "Is there a mind that we connect with others purely and one that connects impurely?"
Is there a mind that we connect with others purely?
And
others means other people? Or
other people.
Purely, and one that connect impurely. That depends on your intention. If your mind is impurely connecting with others, then your mind becomes you're impurely connecting with others. If your mind is pure, trying to connect with purely, then you could connect purely with others. Maybe other people are not so aware about it or not, but your mind is purely, you're sending pure vibes, pure messages through your mind, and you could have pure vision or pure perceptions. And if you're sending negative way, then you have negative perception and negative connection, impurely. That depends on your mind, depends on your motivation, depends on your attitude. And, it's not like you and the other person, and here is what pure or not pure, what this and that. It all comes from you.
Thank you. Colin asks, are the 52 states of mind the skulls on the tantric deities?
52. I said 50 before. So you're adding 2 more. And that's fine if you want to add 2 more. And as you like. That 52 state of mind. The skulls on the tantric deities. If you like, as you like.
Nick asks, how many consciousnesses do animals have? Can they do Mahamudra from their side?
I don't know how many consciousness animals have. I don't know. I never done experiment. I never talked to the animals and, hey, buddy, how many consciousness you have? Hey, buddy, you have primary mind or secondary mind? I never talked to minor birds this way. I never talked to the parrots who mimic human languages, and all. I never talked to them. I never thought of talking to them. I never thought that I'll get an answer from them. I don't know. And I don't know any Buddhist texts that talk about animal mind specifically different than human mind. Well, we know they're different. Of course, they're different. Animals have different mind than us, and maybe they have less um, secondary minds. Like I'm talking about those 50 secondary minds, they may have less. Or maybe they don't need those secondary minds. They don't need those minds. They work on their own way and on a subconscious level. For example, one elephant walking through the desert and knows there's an oasis. How do you say oasis? The water hole, 20 kilometers away. He knows there's water. He goes. Human beings don't know. We're dumb. And, we don't know anything about, 1 kilometer away from us, there's water or not. Mm-hmm. And we do have a Buddhist logic says, if you see water bird around, there's water somewhere. And if you see smoke somewhere, there means fire there. This is what we call inferential logic. You see smoke, there's fire. You see water bird flying around, duck, there's water somewhere. Otherwise, we don't really know. And elephants know, they know a lot about seven with the whales and dolphins. They know so much about the water and what's going on. So they don't need maybe those kind of consciousness, second mind. What are we talking about? And I don't know animals.
Nick.
Yeah. How many consciousness do animals have or not? Maybe they have don't need so many.
Mm-hmm. Holly asks, can the lineage prayer serve as Guru Yoga for Mahamudra preliminaries?
Lineage Guru prayers?
Can the lineage prayer serve as the Guru Yoga?
Well, depends on which lineage Guru prayers. And see, if you want to lineage serves the Guru Yoga or Mahamudra, well, we do have lineage Guru prayer. We have specific lineage Guru prayer of Mahamudra. We have Dorje, Janje, Delo, Naroba, Marba, Mela, Chuje, Gomboba, so on and so forth. Then we do have Mahamudra lineage Guru according to Kagyu tradition. In Gelu tradition, we have Manjushri, Lama Umapa Baba Dorje, Lama Tsongkhapa, and so on. So we do have Mahamudra lineage Guru prayers translated in English. It is available for you. And that's Guru Yoga. And praise to Mahamudra, both. Praise to lineage Gurus of the Mahamudra. Okay, last question.
Last question from Junior Coconut Kiwi. Rinpoche, when is it appropriate time and duration for Mahamudra meditation?
Anytime. Day and night, morning, evening, anytime. There's no one particular time called Mahamudra. This is what BV of Mahamudra.
And how long should people
do?
Yeah, how long?
20 minutes and maximum. Maximum 20 minutes.
Maximum.
10 minutes, 15 minutes, maximum 20 minutes. Don't sit more than 20 minutes. Otherwise, your mind has become restless. Or, and then one time, I'm talking about one time, maximum 20 minutes. Then you have a break, and then again, sit again, another 20 minutes. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Rinpoche.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.